Hey, David.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, and yourself?
I'm good.
Networking coach, is that your tagline today?
Sure.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm gonna go up to your neck of the woods.
Yeah, that's cool. It'll be fun
Um,
to meet you in person. I love meeting people that I talk to a lot in person. Also, I like
yeah,
your new background. I like it
thank you.
better than that like corner angle.
Someone told me I had like the logo on my shirt in the back and the screen, and it was like a little overwhelming. So, um, yeah, just trying to do my best with what I got, and this one came in a little bit better.
I like it.
Uh, Cool.
Do we want to
Um,
confirm that I can share my screen too?
you can try that. Matt, I see you in the audience. Welcome. There should be a button on the top right to
Oh,
be able to kind of come on stage if you feel comfortable being on camera. That makes it best for us. And the chat also does work if there are questions here.
I like this. Okay.
Hey, Matt. Here's the chat.
Oh, that looks good too. Great. And then all I have to do is this, and I can see it while I'm talking on my screen with other people. This is lovely.
Excellent. Matt, if you could do a little thumbs up or a little message in the chat, email, just to make sure. Oh, wow, we got a reaction. Excellent. Thank you.
The people. I only see two people. Why do you see more?
Yes. I only see Matt right now. Let's give it like 2 more minutes. Many people are wrapping up their
I
last
only,
calls. We had
I only see myself and you when I click on people.
Do you see audience or do you see like uh
Audience.
maybe do I have to like promote you to be like a
Public
co-host?
chat. Okay, here's the public chat. Great. See that. I am gonna go write one slide for our networking in the public chat. Please share your name and comfort level with LinkedIn.
Cool. While you're doing that, David, I'm just going to send a quick note to folks that we're going to get started soon.
Yep.
Copy. Phyllis had signed up. She
Oh,
said she
nice.
was excited about this.
Cool.
Yeah. Let me put them here and send a note. Hi, starting LinkedIn webinar starting now. Oh, we got Jeff in the chat as well. Hey Jeff, how are you?
I don't see that.
Maybe because I'm like a co-owner or something. Jeff, if you feel comfortable, there is a way for you to kind of come on stage with us in the top right to show your camera. That'd be really awesome for us.
I see that there's 4 people now, but when I click on that audience, I can't see them. And if I click on people, then I only see the 2 of us. That's weird.
Yeah. All right, so I'm copying the link and let's get started. Cool. All right. Well, Jeff, do you have questions on the camera? Do you have are you in transit? We want everybody to be safe, but I'll just write in the chat. If you can flare up your camera, top right to come on stage. Yeah, we missed you today, Jeff. Northern New Jersey group has a special place in your heart. But yeah, we're 5 over. Want to be respectful of everyone's time. The good thing, David, this is being recorded. So if folks trickle in later or whatever occurs, we can always fill them in.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'll just kick it off because we're co-hosting. Maybe there's some questions on Joe does expense reduction. David does LinkedIn networking. He has specialized with people getting jobs. How is this all coming together? So I have learned over the past few months that networking is a skill that you could start developing as a elementary school kid. I mean, maybe some people say middle school or high school or college, but you have friends, you have colleagues that go to college with you, you have grad school, you have first job, second job, third job. Doesn't matter if you're looking for jobs, starting a business, looking for business, looking to get hired. I mean, networking is networking. I want David to speak to this. David is two-time founder, the director of product, entrepreneur now with his own business. Kellogg MBA grad, gets into hard places. What other hard places have you gotten to, David, that I didn't mention?
I mean, I helped my oldest son get into University of Illinois,
Hey,
which is pretty hard to get into these days. So
wow! So you coached your own son?
yes,
Great, great. But yeah, excited to have David share his knowledge. We booked an hour. This may take 30 minutes to go through the content. Want to leave time for Q&A, and then people can always follow up with us offline if needed.
sounds good. Joe, thank you for that great introduction. Let me dive right in. So this is expert level networking. In less than 5 hours per week, I will show you how to turn new connections and existing connections into conversations and therefore pipeline. So I think, Matt, you put your comfort level as medium. Jeff, if you want to share your comfort level with LinkedIn, if there's anybody else in the chat want to share your comfort level with LinkedIn, let me know. I'm curious. All right. How are we going to do this in less than 5 hours a week? Well, let's start by breaking down some numbers. There's 3 key points that I want you all to remember in terms of LinkedIn numbers is that you can write unlimited comments on posts per day, per whatever. You can just write unlimited. You can send 200 connection requests per week, and you can also send unlimited messages to your first degree connections. And we're going to talk through these in further detail to show how these numbers work in your favor and how you can be efficient throughout the week to effectively build this pipeline through networking. So before we do anything else, before we even get onto LinkedIn or go look for anybody to network with, it is of the top importance that you look good first. If you go try reaching out to people when you don't have a good headline or profile, then they're going to look at that and they're going to ignore you. So the headline is the most important piece, way above the whole profile. Yes, your whole profile is important, but I would argue that like whatever high number percent you want, 80, 90% of your LinkedIn profile, the value is in your headline. And I'll explain why. But in order to have a good headline, you have to get your positioning done. So determine your strengths and unique selling propositions and think about that for what you can do for others and how to put that in your headline. I have an entire lesson on writing 10 out of 10 headlines, so I'm not going to go into detail about exactly what to do. But if that's something that you specifically want me to dive into more, we can get to that in the Q&A. Why is the headline so important? Because it shows up everywhere you are seen, and it's often the only text that shows up beyond your name and your photo. So they're visible in the search results, they're visible in the comments, they're visible every time somebody's messaging you and they want to get to your profile, they see your headline, and they're visible when you post. And so
Now, David, I think this could be a good moment, if I may, to try to get a brave volunteer.
oh yeah,
Okay. So it's a really great exercise to do it for yourself. I see Jim, you've joined as well. Jeff, we're going back and forth on the chat to try to get you on here. If Jim, if you can try to get on the actual stage and share your face, we can maybe walk your example, or Jeff, I have your LinkedIn pulled up as well. I can just put it in the chat and go into Jeff's profile.
Yeah, one thing that I would love to do, and maybe since I'm already sharing, I can just pull it up on my screen. Who would like to volunteer for me to show what other headlines in your field look like and what a good headline looks like, just to compare. So I'm not even going to ask somebody, let's go, roast your own headline. I just want somebody to volunteer that I'll look at their field.
Matt, you're also an option. I know you've got a very niche space you operate in, but I see something in the chat from Jeff.
Jeff said him.
Hand up. All right, so I'm putting in the chat Jeff's LinkedIn. Matt, actually, and Jeff, what we could do one of each. They're in two different complete spaces.
Yep,
So Jeff is up. I'm pulling up Matt's.
All right, let me grab a new tab and pull it. Okay, am I still sharing my screen? Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're going to go to LinkedIn. Or actually, great. You got. Who said yes first? Jeff said yes first. So we're going to go to Jeff.
Yep.
Flip over here. Hang on. All right. Jeff is credit card processing.
Yep.
Okay. Credit card processing. And we're going to look for people. People. Okay. Owner, chip in. Credit card processing with a charitable twist. All right, charitable. But I don't know much about this other than it does credit card processing. President Merchant Processing Solutions, payment card processing merchant services. What about their merchant services and their credit card processing? Why is this for me? Vague, no hassle, no cost credit card processing reviews. Okay, that's a little bit different because it's reviews. I'm I don't know, but still vague, no hassle, no cost. I mean, no matter what, there's going to be a hassle. No cost, that's fine. Credit card processing and risk management expert. Still vague. Making it easier for your clients to pay, credit card processing, financial systems. Okay, we got financial systems, high risk merchants. All right, we got a little bit. Notice what
if I could ask Jeff, sorry, David, because I am curious. Even though we're having trouble with the camera, can you go off mute? Can you hear us, or you still can't join? I think Nick is able to go off mute if you want to say hi.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hello.
Okay. We have we have some other human out there. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah. Why don't you finish your point, David? And then with Nick could be interesting too.
I could go through multiple pages of this, but let me just give you an idea of what these people aren't doing. They aren't talking to any certain audience, and they aren't proving any of their capabilities. They're just all vaguely using one or two maybe keywords that people could find them by. So none of them say what vertical they work in. If they are great at certain verticals, none of or even types of businesses. Are you direct to consumer? Or are you B2B, right? Businesses use credit cards. They don't say how many clients they've helped. They don't say what size clients they help. There's no numbers. You do credit card processing, that's all about numbers. You don't put a single number, anyone in any of your headlines. There's so many things that these headlines could be doing that would help you understand better. Let's just go take a look at an example of someone who actually does have a good headline. Look, save up to 50% on indirect spend. Okay, I have indirect spend and I can save half my spend on that. Great, I understand what this means and exactly how it can help me. $10 million to $100 million SMBs. Okay, if I'm too small, maybe you could still help me, but I get that you need to be a decent sized business, but not a huge public company. Understand, I'm in this range. He's talking to me. Oh, manufacturing, hospitality, third-party logistics, that makes sense. Could also do some other things, but I know he's great at this. Then his title, partner expense reduction, that's fine, good to know. 200 clients, so he's worked with a lot of people, saved a lot of money. Now I see the no risk, no cost. Okay, that's reassuring, kind of a guarantee. Oh, and if he's networking, he went to University of Florida. So I don't have to think about it. If he's contacting me and I went to University of Florida, I immediately see that and I'll respond to him. Oh, and he also worked at GE, a huge company that a lot of people work at and leave and start businesses. So if I used to do that, then I'm also going to just say yes. It's in his headline. And so my point here is everybody gets the same 3 to 4 lines of space. But as I showed you on that last screen, the whole top 10 search results were vague and short. That's why you need a great headline, and you can make one of these. It's not that hard. Then when you network to other people, they will want to accept you because they can see that you care and that you're not just, winging it.
David, thank you. While you pull up Matt's profile and maybe people start thinking of some questions, Jeff, hopefully you can hear me. When David did this exercise with myself, it gave me a lot of hope that the bar is relatively low. People optimize their SEO, but people aren't optimizing their LinkedIn SEO. So thumbs up, Jeff, if that resonates, or write in the chat.
And I didn't even mention that the headline is part of like the SEO aspect of LinkedIn. Recruiters, other people, they use search. If there's keywords in your headline, you're going to land in the search results better. I was only looking at this from the networking to teach you all about from the networking perspective. If I get a connection request from credit card processor, then I think that I'm like in collections or something. But if I see something that says like, I will help you save 50% on your credit card processing, or go from Stripe's 3% to like 1% or whatever, then I know, oh, this is what he can help me with or she can help me with. So, okay, founder and CEO, name of company, former mayor's protection detail lead. I'm not sure what that means, but it might be important to people that you're reaching out to.
I can explain for context.
500. Go ahead.
Well, actually, it's interesting. You don't have context. You're reading his profile, so continue.
Yes. Executive protection. That's here too. Oh, mayor. Okay, I'm understanding. Executive protection. It's fitting together now. Medical. I like the vertical. EMT, NYC, and global. So location. Awesome. Go ahead with the context.
Yes. So Matt, hopefully you can hear me. Matt and I met at a Manhattan Chamber of Commerce event, and I'd never met someone in his space. He basically works with folks who need security detail, getting in and out of restaurants, back doors, black cars, like all of that.
Got it. Okay. So you could say like, just
Want to search his competitors?
Say again?
Want to search his competitors? Like want to see if
I could, but I don't want to spend too much time going off on that one tangent because I've got a lot of other slides to go through. But I could quickly think of some things that you could add in here that would make your recipients like understand why you. So like maybe you work with government, maybe you work with actors and actresses, maybe you work with musicians, or maybe you work with other VIPs that I don't even know about. Like, and you could say that. So then when those people see your profile, they're like, hey, that's me. That's not in here. Or like you could say how many people you've helped, or you could say like 0 incidents of some sort. I've seen people do that. And that just gives people a sense of more specificity for them and the things that they care about. So I'm not roasting it. This is good. Above average, but there's still even some things that you could do that would spice it up. Matt, thoughts? In the chat, maybe?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Trying to be like a little critical to like give you some ideas to improve, but I'm not trying to roast anything or like be negative. So, okay. That's a little flavor of talking about the headline itself and seeing that as Joe said, the competition is insanely low. So if you even do a little bit, then it will go very far. And again, the headline is seen all over the place as the only text about you. So take advantage of that. The next thing you need to do for networking is determine your audience. So in the job search, that looks like a company list. Like, hey, I work here in this industry. Here are the other companies that I want to work at. If you're running your own business, it could still be very similar. You're either going to search for people at companies or people with certain titles. So you would search like names of companies, types of companies, size or stage of companies. You could search by vertical or location. And when you find some that are some specific companies that are right in your sweet spot, what you can do is make a list of those with these modifiers or like keyword, like these categories, and then put that into AI and ask AI to give you others like that. This is a step that a lot of people skip, to use the AI to expand their list. But you need to have some filters because you want to do a LinkedIn search for people that would be interested in your service. Any questions on that one while we're going? I'll do Q&A as we go.
Nick, just to pulse check that you're alive.
No, I'm alive and I'm listening. I have no questions yet. I mean,
Okay.
I guess, I'm looking at this advice because we actually are going through sort of like a little rebrand. So this is all interesting. I mean, I'll just, a couple things, for example, like my customers are all over the place. So I have someone who will swipe their credit card for $20. We have a lot of free users. We have a lot of people using us very similar to other document solutions, dragging and dropping signatures. And we have a lot more people using our APIs and SDKs, right? So, the problem with the messaging, and I'm curious your thoughts, we're pretty broad, David. So like, people use this for all sorts of things. But if I do look at where most of my revenue is, it's coming from developer use cases, integration use cases, workflows. So for a company that's very broad like ours, right? Like, should we niche down? Should we keep going broad? I mean, I see the value of niching, but then I'll also lose out on larger enterprise revenue that doesn't fit into that niche. So that's sort of my catch-22 of some of the stuff you guys are saying.
I have a great answer to that question. So
Yeah.
I get that a lot with job seekers. I work with product managers. They're like, oh, well, I could work well in ad tech or fintech, or I could even do health tech or ed tech or whatever. So I don't want to list any of those because then they'll think that I'm only one of those and I couldn't be broad enough to do everything. Being broad enough to do everything is great, but not in your messaging. So the human mind, and this is from the book Never Search Alone, not Never Eat Alone, Never Search Alone, which is a job search book, but I learned it from Phil Terry, the author, who said the human mind is better at being expansive than reductive. And what that means is if you say, I'm a product manager who could work in any field, then whoever you tell that to is thinking in their head, I don't know what field you could work in and I can't help you, because they're not going to figure it out. But if you say, I'm a product manager who's great at ad tech, you're not saying I can only work at ad tech. You're just saying like I have deep ad tech experience. Then the person might say, oh, ad tech is very high transaction with ad placements. I'll bet this person could also do fintech because that's high transactions, and you'll expand it. So you could be broad in your offering, but in your messaging, it definitely helps to pick a few that you want to focus on in terms of showing what you're great at and let people understand that you could do more. Does that help at all?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Definitely things to think about.
Even if you're super uncomfortable, you could say such as.
Yeah, I mean, my company's called TurboDocs. So, if I boil down where we make most of our money, and if this is the messaging I go with, we do document automation, signature, and quoting workflows that are tailor fit for each company we work with. And, that's where most of our enterprise revenue comes from, right? But if I look at self-serve revenue, the credit card swipes, just think of the last tool you might have used to sign a contract. Like a lot of people are using us like that too. So, I mean, yeah, I guess we could tailor and niche down some of our messaging and, see what comes of it.
Yeah.
Also, David, if I may ask a question, Nick, I am curious if something like 25% the cost of Dropbox or DocuSign could be part of the headline or something, everybody knows DocuSign or HelloSign or something. So if you say I'm 25% the cost or whatever the number is,
it's like over 50, but yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that, but then we end up competing on price, right? If I make that my headline, which goes out as selling value. It's all. This is all good thoughts. I mean, I see.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to
Yeah.
more kind of what you have to show, David, and I'll come to my own opinions. So,
No worries. Okay. And I'm trying to take this from the job search focus that I've had and move it into a wider audience focus for business owners. So all this is good feedback for me too, and good questioning. Like you can press and probe. Okay. Let me keep moving because I feel like we're going to run out of time. After you have your headline and you have your audience, you want to make sure that there's a match there. And then you'll start doing the searches with your audience defined. So what I mean by match, before I get into search, is you want what's in your headline to be appealing to the people that you're going to be reaching out to, because that will increase your chances of people being receptive to you reaching out to them, whether it's warm connections or like new outreach. To do the either one of those, you can go to people search on LinkedIn, or you can search posts. And a lot of people sleep on posts. But first, I'm going to do people, because a lot of people in people search don't know about all these filters. So when you're in people search, you can filter by location. You can filter by what their current company is. You could filter by their job function. So for instance, like Joe, I've told him, like, search for people that have CFO in their title. Like, just search for a bunch of CFOs in an industry. Or like maybe if you were doing franchises, I would say like search for current company equals the franchise name and CFO, then you're going to get a lot of results back. And the goal is to get a lot of results back in a specific category. I call them buckets, where you can then go determine if those people would be good for you to connect with. You can also then add things that you have in common. So you can get that whole bucket, and then you could add another thing to say like, and past school equals this, or past company equals that. So Joe could search for anybody that used to work at GE. That's a lot of people. Or anybody that went to Florida, and they're all over the country, huge alumni network. After he puts these filters in, because then when he reaches out to them and that's all in his headline, they're going to be very receptive to him. So that's like the low hanging fruit. And this is how you can do the easy stuff in less than 5 hours a week. That's people search. You can also search what people are posting. So in terms of searching posts, you can filter by author company. I'm not sure, like, based on Nicholas, what you were saying, if there's like big companies that many different divisions could use your service, this would be great, because maybe those people are posting about this or complaining about it. You could search any posts where the author company equals something, or you could just search an industry. And then in the search field, you can add functions or other keywords, like you could add document or whatever. And then here's a key thing is like, do the sort by latest, not top match. And then it'll just show you like who's been posting at those companies or about those topics. And you can go into those posts and jump into the conversation. Any questions on those two? No? Okay.
Nope, for me.
If you think of one, we can come back to it. So we were talking about unlimited comments on posts. So when you find these posts, then comment on them. So first, find good posts. Use LinkedIn's own algorithm. When you set up your profile with your headline and your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn will then build an algorithm for you based on your profile. And once you start engaging with the algorithm, it'll further refine the algorithm to you based on your activity. So you can customize LinkedIn's algorithm for you by doing that. And you can also find other people to follow by seeing who's engaging on posts that matter to you. Don't just look at who else commented,
did I lose you
but
guys?
look at who liked the post and see who they are, because they're liking stuff that you'd be interested
Are you
in.
guys still there?
And then to find good posts, you can search for posts like we just showed, or you can search for people who are posting and then write comments on those posts. So here's some don'ts and do's. Don't use AI to write your comments. People try that and it's not good. Don't write great post or preach or like, when you said this, I thought that. Like, don't repeat the post. What you should do is like ask a question or relate something personal or add like, yeah, those two things and this other thing. Like on top of that, you should do this or you should consider that. Or maybe politely push back. Like, hey, you're saying everybody does this. Like, there's a decent amount of people who do this other thing instead. And optionally, you can add some humor. I get a lot of likes when I add certain types of humor. I'll just leave it at that. But aim for 10 comments per weekday, and that would get you to 50 per week. And this should take less than 15 minutes to do 10 comments. You can scroll on your laptop, or what I do is like, I just scroll on my phone. Like if I'm going to pick up my high school son and I'm in the carpool line, I've got 10 minutes. You know, I'm scrolling, I'm hitting 3 or 4 comments in that time frame. Easy. Nicholas,
Question, David,
go ahead.
or Nick. I don't know if you had a question first.
No, sorry, my connection dropped. I just had to switch networks. Sorry.
Okay. So, David, these are comments on other people's posts. Are you going to cover commenting your own post?
Commenting on your own posts?
I just, for me, personal experience, it's if I look at impressions for posts that have some comments and I don't reply versus posts that have comments and I have replied, it's like 10x difference. So I don't know what the algorithm does in the background for that.
This isn't super thorough, but yes, the reason that I'm talking about commenting versus posting is that if you find good posts by people who have a lot of followers and you turn on notifications so that you're early to comment on their posts, you will get way more people seeing your comment and therefore your headline than if you post yourself. And it takes a long time to, number one, write even one good post, but number two, post consistently of multiple good posts strung together week after week. It's hard to post. I post 5 days a week. I pay people to help me, and it's still hard for me to post. I comment every day. I probably comment between 5 and 10 times a day. It's a game to me. I actually have fun with it because a lot of the people that I comment on, I've met now, and I like them, and I like engaging with them. And then I know it's just like my connection, like for the day. So yeah, comments are going to get you 10x more impressions than your own posts will. All right, let's move on to connection requests. You can send 200 connection requests per week, and then LinkedIn will basically tell you to like slow your roll. So a lot of people tell me to like 200 connection requests, like that's going to take forever. And it doesn't. If you do this in buckets, it will be pretty easy, in fact. So 200 a week, let's say you only want to do it on the weekdays, that's 40 per day. One search, what we were talking about before, like for your audience, like defining your audience, one search could bring you back hundreds of results. And of those hundreds, you could be interested in 20 of them. And all you have to do is hit connect. Your headline is going to do the work of the personalized note. So a lot of people ask me like, well, should I put a personalized note or should I just connect with no note? I have found for my own, I've downloaded my LinkedIn data every month for like years now. And I tell my clients to do the same. And I point AI at it and analyze the numbers, which it can do very well and quickly. The connection request acceptance rate between personalized notes and no note is about the same. Therefore, in my mind, why waste a note on someone who's not going to connect? I'll send them a note after they connect, and then they already connected with me, so they're going to like maybe want my note as opposed to me writing a note and the person ignores it. I wasted my time. So for an efficiency standpoint and a kind of opt-in standpoint, I generally don't put notes unless I want that person to really know we have something in common, or I'm using the note field as a CRM in the messaging to remember why I even connected with them in the first place. So the point is, if you have a great headline and it matches the audience you're going after, you can save a crap ton of time not writing notes to people who will never read them or never respond to you. So
David, there's the anecdote of the friend that used Hinge on the train out and train in. I don't know if it's a good story to share.
Yeah, no, that was not the friend. That was me, and it was Bumble. But I don't have that slide in here for the sake of time.
Yeah.
But but yeah, since Joe brought it up, like I met my second wife on Bumble, and I was on the app, and I set the filters right. I want women this age and whatever, you know. And on Bumble, men and women have to both swipe on each other, and then the men cannot contact the women until the women write first to the men. But what I was doing was I was spending a lot of time analyzing every person's profile and only swiping yes on people that I thought would be a good match. And then those people were not messaging me. So I was wasting an hour on the train in the morning. And then on the train the ride home, there was no one to talk to. Boo hoo. What I decided to do was realize that Bumble didn't even have a 200 limit. So I just set my filters and swiped yes on every single person without even looking at them. And then in the morning and on the way home, then whichever ones also swiped yes on me and messaged me, that was my new like queue of people to look at. And then I either wrote back to the ones I wanted after looking at their profile or not. And that's what you should do on LinkedIn too. It's no longer who have you met in person, you know, who are you buddy with? It is now just like Twitter or X or even TikTok or whatever. It's an open graph. So think of it that way. Okay. Once you send these connection requests, then you want to message your connections. And there's two types of connections that you want to message. You want to search your own connections and message them. So search your first degree and send them catch-up messages, but you want to ask for and offer to help. So there has to be like an aspect of relationship and transactional in there. You want to maintain the relationship because you think you can help them with some sort of transaction that also helps you. So think of your catch-up messages more in that light, and they will be received better. Then you want to message new connections. Start off with, thank you for connecting, because they accepted your connection request. Then use what I call a them, you, do template. It's 3 sentences, easy to remember, easy to do for each bucket. You can basically write a very similar message over and over again on one topic, then switch to another search result and write the same message to another topic, which is them, you, do. 1 sentence about them that you noticed on their profile, 1 sentence about yourself that relates to them. So kind of the second sentence is also about them, but you're bringing yourself into it. And then a specific call to action that is very brief and easy to do. Don't overdo it in the first message. You're just looking to like start a conversation. A great example would be like, I'm trying to think of one for Joe off the top of my head, but hey, Joe, I noticed that you used to be in product management. I'm also in product management. I'd like to learn more about your expense reduction. Could you give me an overview? That's it. It's so simple. It's just, I noticed something about you that I also, now we have something in common. And then don't forget the do. Because if I just say, hey, Joe, I noticed you were in product management. I'm also in product management. Joe's going to look at that and be like, cool, good for you. Next. Like, he's not going to do anything. You got to put that real. But if you say, hey, Joe, I noticed you're in product management. I'm also in product management. I'd like to learn more about expense reduction. Can I meet with you this week? He only knows that I used to be in product management. Like, now he's got to figure out my profile. He's got to book a meeting. He's got to take 30 minutes. There's no agenda. He's not going to do that. It's too big of an ask. So the first thing is just try to keep it online and be really, really simple. I like the sentence, can I ask you a few questions here? Because the answer to that is yes. Like, all they have to do is be like, sure, you know what? You piqued my interest. I'm curious. Yes, you can ask me some questions. And then they can ignore those, but at least then they're responding to you and you've started the conversation. Work in buckets. So use the search bucket and topic template. So I would search for like everybody at one company, or I would just do warm connections first, or I would do cold connections who are product managers or whatever else. That way, not only am I using the them, you, do template, but I'm also kind of looking for the same things. So it's even more efficient because I'm just one task, one topic. For someone like ADD, like me, like if I'm messaging warm people and messaging cold people and doing this and that, I'm just going to lose energy.
David, one question, if I may, and this is also for Jim, Jeff, and Matt, because Jim, Jeff, and Matt, I met all through networking events in person. I feel like you do could also be in person. Hey, like,
It could, but
what is
5 hours that week, so that's why I'm not doing any in-person stuff here.
Yeah, but it's also like don't go up. You're just meeting someone for the first time. Don't go off and start saying like what you sell. Just pique interest and see what they have to say, and then also you can walk away if it's not a fit for either party.
That's right. And a great way to walk away, since you brought up doing in person to work a room, is to say, hey, I would love to continue talking with you because this is great. Can we please exchange LinkedIn profiles? Here's my QR code. We're both here to network. Let's make sure we get the most out of like everybody in the room and this one event. But I want to follow up with you. That's why I want to connect with you. So then you add a connection. You then have access to all their connections. You're polite because you care about them. You tell them you want to follow up and you move on to the next person nicely. I find a lot of people like they meet 3 people because they get stuck with one person. They literally do not know how to leave. So that comes up all the time in my coaching. And if you do the then you do, the do is let's connect on LinkedIn so that we can get to the next step later.
Or let's book time. What does next week look like?
Just, like find the time and book it on the calendar right then. Move a step forward if they're interested. Yeah.
That's a John Barrows advice. It's just like it's a great way to filter out people that are like, no, I'm not really interested, because they're gonna lie to your face. Everyone has their calendar in their phone, so
then they can say, well, no, I don't want to book time with you.
yeah, but that's okay. At least you don't chase them. You'd say so that we don't have to play chase, and then you as the seller can go and work on the people that want your services, and they don't have to be, oh, here's Joe pestering me again, you know?
I love it. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Got a few more slides here. So how do we do all of this in less than 5 hours per week? Joe, that's what you put, but I think people can do it in 3.5 hours per week. So look at all the savings that I'm giving your audience here. I do the math in my head, but it's I can't do it quick enough. Here's how I break it down. 30 minutes each weekday, that's 2.5 hours per week. So comment, we talked about more impressions from comments than your own posts. So spend a little bit of time commenting. Search and connect for people outside your network. So pick 1 or 2 buckets, meaning some company, some industry, some title, and then just look through the whole list and connect with 20 to 40 of them. If you only connect with 20, do 2 searches. If there's 40 in your first search, done in 5 to 10 minutes. Then search your own connections and message some of your first degrees. Hey, let's catch up. Here's why. Connect. So search and connect, like connect with your new followers. So see who is following you from your comments and just hit connect on them. So that's adding to your 40 per day. You can connect with your new followers. Then go into your new connections list and message your new connections. This takes the longest amount of time, but if you have templates, it can come easier and easier for you. This is a muscle you have to build, but it gets really easy. And then also make sure you're following up. So go back into your inbox and follow up with people 1 or 2 times. Don't think that if the person doesn't respond to you on the first time that they're ghosting you. I know in sales they tell you follow up until like they block you or tell you to like buzz off.
Constant. Yeah.
In networking, my philosophy is most people are busy. So there's a high chance that they missed your first message, not because they weren't interested, but because they were just distracted. So it's totally fair game and polite to try again 1 or 2 times. And I have a whole set of slides about follow-up philosophy. But the key thing there is you're reaching out to them. So don't nag them about a task that you asked them to do that they never wanted. So don't say bumping to the top of your inbox, I'm following up to see what. just give them some new information. Hey, I also do this. Love to hear from you. Or like, hey, I noticed this thing in the news about your company or your industry. Made me think of you. Would love to start a conversation. Instead of like, hey, I wrote you 3 days ago and you didn't write me back. Like, just be careful not to sound like, I know nobody's going to write that, but like, be careful not to sound that way. One of the things that I do is I put my follow-up messages through AI and ask it, like, is this passive aggressive or can it be construed negatively in any way? And if so, rewrite it for me. And then I don't use exactly what AI says, but I do use it for feedback and then rewrite it. So that's 30 minutes a day, and you could easily comment 10 times, connect 40 people, write a few messages. And from those messages, you can book 2 coffee chats per week. So that's another hour for attending those, and that's 3.5 hours per week.
Think for the folks in the call, Matt for sure, and Jeff, maybe Jim, myself. There'll be a little more time than coffee chops because we'd like to visit them in person and meet them, and maybe the ratios there. But I think the first 2.5 hours is what we're talking about. Any questions in the chat or Nick?
Not necessarily a question, more of an observation. So we
You're
used
doing
to
a
be
great job,
very-
David.
All right, wait. I'm just seeing
can you
your
hear me?
chat. Top right, new people.
Can you hear
David,
me?
I heard big no-nos in elevator pitch are looking for anyone, someone, everyone. Yes. That's kind of the, Nicholas, we cannot hear you.
Uh,
I think you're on mute. There we go. Try.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
working space, so I use headphones, and there's people around me. Not a question, more of a comment. I want your perspective on this. Is that okay, David?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we used to be super religious about this when we were doing, business development, where we would schedule time, comment, post, etc. And what we ended up finding was there was, and probably because I wasn't doing it right, there was almost
Nick,
You're breaking up a little bit. Can you start the question again? Sorry.
The long and short of it, can you guys hear me, or is it still spotty?
Yeah.
You're good.
There's a fine line between persistence and pestilence, right? And you brought this up earlier, right? Between following up. And one of the things we did initially was when we were following up with businesses for business development earlier in the company, we were doing this like on steroids extremely religiously. And it actually created like a brand tarnishment. So I would go to actual in-person network events like, oh, you're the guy who's blowing up my LinkedIn. And part of my language, first thing I thought was, oh shit, like that's not good. So what we ended up doing is we flipped this script, and my favorite question to ask people is, how much money have you spent on marketing? And everyone will tell you about how much you spent on Claude, how much you spent on engineering, how much you spend on everything, but actually paid ads, which is wild. So what we do is we spend money to boost posts, and based off the engagement from that, if they comment on it, that to me is like the green light. Like, hey, you can outbound or at least message them and just catch up because they kind of opted in a way.
Yep.
On the flip side, we, if someone likes it or someone does this, I try to find relevant things because I'm a bad salesman when I say this. I hate outbound. Like, I absolutely hate it. To me, the best outbound is an inbound and a qualified lead, someone coming to me saying they need help.
Of course.
So, I guess given kind of what I said, how do you mold the philosophy here so it's sort of like a high touch outbound, but it's not, you're not tarnishing your brand at the same time? Because remember, I live in South Florida, so culturally it's a little different than New York where things are a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
Up there, people don't take it personal when you outbound it to them. Down here, like people give you like some side eye when you go to like, the Palm Beach tech meetup or whatever, because you DM them unsolicited. So
I'll give you an example of somebody who literally just cold pitched me this week. I had a call with them yesterday and it was awesome. They did their profile is extremely clear. They do YouTube strategy for coaches. Okay, I'm a coach and I've done some YouTube videos and it's publicly known because they're referenced on my LinkedIn profile. So he mentioned that. He's like, hey, I see you're a coach and that you've done YouTube, but you're not doing anything else. I have some specific ideas for you in your networking niche that I think could help you. Are you interested? So immediately I'm like, okay, this guy understood I'm a coach. That's fine. He only helps coaches. So that doesn't make me feel good at all. But he looked at my LinkedIn profile and saw that I did video and referenced that. And he went and searched up networking on LinkedIn and told me that there's opportunities there and said he would for free tell me about them. That's all for me. And I responded, I'm like, dude, look, like my budget right now is literally zero. But if you still want to get on a call, like, so that I know who you are when my business picks up that I could use you, I'm game. And he's like, yep, I do.
And at least you're upfront about it, right? Some people aren't. So
Say again?
I was saying, at least you're upfront about it. A lot of people aren't. You get on calls, you waste a lot of time, and then you.
Well,
I don't know.
I want people that if they're super hungry and they're mad at me for saying no, I don't want to be in that situation. So I tell them no, like immediately up front, and let them, if you want to give me the free stuff, I'll take the free stuff.
So I have a comment. Go ahead, David.
My point there was, let's say I like told him, yeah, I'm interested. And he's like, great, here's my Calendly link. And then I don't book it. My point on the follow-up is he could follow up with me 2 times politely and be like, hey, David, it sounded like you were interested. You did respond, not negatively. He wouldn't say all these things, but that's what the implication would be. You must be busy. So like, I'm going to try you again. And Nick, to your point, like the reason people get mad is because it's an immediate pitch slap of buy from me as opposed to here's how I can help you. That's one flip. And then the other flip is that they keep pestering until you like directly tell them no. So the way I flip it is offer something up front showing you've done your research and that you're not automating this. You're automating, like this page is kind of like automating your own SOPs, but it's not automating it with Claude and then it's all AI slop. You're actually caring about them. You did your research and you have something to offer them and you only follow up twice in case they missed it and then stop. So that's the philosophy that I'm suggesting. A lot of people just don't think to follow up at all because they don't want to be rude. And I think that's wrong.
David, if I may add 2 things.
Yep.
So one of them, Nick, I think there's a benefit in the commenting for your top tier accounts yourself because you get context into what you're seeing and you can, when you eventually DM them, hey, cool that you took a road trip with your dad, Darren. I also do that with my father. That could be a good tip. The other one is, David, instead of doing 2 follow-ups and then kind of leaving it as is, you could say, hey, looks like you're tied up. I post stuff about career coaching all the time. Here's a newsletter, here's a podcast I was on, here's a reference that you can maybe consume on your own time.
Yep. It's great to have lead magnets. Like just say, hey, this is for you. Like read it or don't. Like I think this would help you and you can have it. Connect. Well, it was in one of my other decks, but I was saying like if you comment on somebody's post and then you send them a connection request, then you've already kind of started the conversation. Because you might have a conversation with them in the comments and then you go to the connection request and they say yes, and then you're already having a little bit of a back and forth.
Cool. So David, time check. Nick, I'm also going to mute your mic just because there's a little bit of background noise. So yeah, you're good.
So here's the numbers per week. So we already talked about the last slide. Here's just like breaking down the numbers a little bit more, like the funnel. So 3.5 hours per week, 10 comments per weekday is 50 comments. 40 connection requests per weekday is 200 connection requests sent, but not everybody's going to say yes. So let's do the math. 50 to 75% will say yes. I've never seen anybody get above 75% connection request acceptance rate because some people aren't on LinkedIn, they're busy, they're whatever, they just don't. Okay. 50% is good. Most people, when they come to me, they're at 15%. So they're like, 3 to 5xing their connection request acceptance rate. And they're at 15% on like 20 per week. So going up to 200 connection requests sent with a good headline and a good audience, and then getting 50%, that could get you like 100 acceptances. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to get you somewhere because then you have to message them. So of the 100 people who accept, you send a message, only 50% will respond after follow-ups. So if you only send 50% of them, if you only send 100 first messages and you don't follow up, then you're not going to get this 50%. But if you do follow up, then you could get 50 new conversations started per week. Somebody responds yes. And of those 50, it probably wouldn't be that hard to get 2 meetings booked per week from those conversations. And that would be 100 meetings per year in 3.5 hours per week.
How do people find you, David?
All right. We have 5 minutes left. I was going to do this earlier in the thing. So
They'll have to find you. They'll have to find you.
I coach networking. I have a networking magic course. It covers the mindset, the methods, the messaging, and the management of everything I just talked about here in way greater detail. If you like this design, I have lots of decks with this design. But you can see this here. Here's how you can find me. You can either go to my LinkedIn profile or you can go to my website, which is the link behind the book an appointment. Joe loves to tell me, why the heck is it named this? And since I own Spiegel and davidspiegel.com, why haven't I moved it? Because I'm busy and it's not at the top of my priority list. This is my background. You're going to get this deck, so I'm just going to show you that it's here as a free gift. So see, I'm offering you value. I use a tool called Condo, which is like superhuman for LinkedIn messaging. It allows you to label your messages so that you can find them better. It allows you to snooze messages so that you get reminded to come back and do your follow-ups. And it allows you to do snippets, which is different than a Google template. You can just hit semicolon and type a couple letters and it'll like put in a whole message with links and everything else that you use frequently. So I have one semicolon CAL, and then it immediately pops in, hey, here's my Calendly link with the link. Book some time. Or here are my resources. Here's one, here's the link, here's another, here's the link. I send those a lot. You probably do too. I love Condo. You get 1 month free. Full disclosure, I'll also get 1 month free, but this thing's like $50 a month now. You can try it and see if that helps you. And then here's some examples just to show you of the career coaching that I've done. A lot of people who work at really competitive companies think that this helps them tremendously. This person worked at Apple and Google and loved what I taught. Here are some accomplishments in terms of helping other people land interviews, basically, and with all sorts of different audiences. And that's it. I'm gonna pull this back.
Yeah, and from a business perspective, I've worked with David to try to help me be a more of a thought leader or more of a person people can come to with cost reduction. And I really love his insights and his journey now, trying to broaden, career coaching for tech and tangentially other stuff. But his LinkedIn could still say, the former.
Yeah.
But Jim, Jeff, Matt, Nick, thank you. I mean, we had almost 10 signups. People got busy. Things came up. I think when people know that it's being recorded, they may be like, I'll watch it at 2x after. But any final questions, thoughts would go a long way. Thank you from Jeff.
Thanks. It was fun talking with you. Thank you, Nick, for jumping in and engaging with us. I love the questions. If you want to follow up, send me a connection request. Happy to answer anything that I can help you with.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Nice job.
Thank you. David, I can call you after this if you're around.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Take care, all.
Bye.
Bye.